Hello, welcome back to our video devotional series from the book of Philippians. Today we're going to be finishing chapter 1. We've seen so far, haven't we, how Paul prays with joy considering the Philippians partners of the gospel, and we've heard all about how Paul is in prison awaiting trial in Rome, and how even in those circumstances the gospel has been advancing and Paul remains confident of his faith in Jesus. And today we're going to be looking at Philippians chapter 1 verses 27 to 30 to the end of chapter 1. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, why don't you pause this video, go and grab a Bible and we can read together. So Philippians chapter 1 verses 27 to 30, finally we have this call from Paul to live a life worthy of the gospel. This is from verse 27. He says, "Whatever happens, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Then, whether I come and see you or only hear about you in my absence, I will know that you stand firm in the one Spirit, striving together as one for the faith of the gospel, without being frightened in any way by those who oppose you. This is a sign to them that they will be destroyed, but that you will be saved, and that by God. For it has been granted to you on behalf of Christ, not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him, since you are going through the same struggle you saw I had, and now hear that I still have." So in light of everything that Paul has been sharing with us about being in prison, about awaiting trial, about struggling whether he should go on living on earth or to be with Jesus, he says whatever happens, he says whatever our circumstances, we have this call to action. He says, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. You see, following Jesus has its cost, doesn't it? It has a way of life. We are to conduct ourselves in a way worthy that honours Christ in our lives, worthy of the gospel. And remember, he's still in prison. He doesn't know which way his trial is going to go. So he says, whether I come and see you or not, he says, I will know you will stand firm. You see, we have this call as Christians, as the people of God, as the church, to stand firm, to stand boldly and strong in our faith in Jesus. And it says stand firm in the one Spirit. You see, we have this incredible truth that Christians all over the world, we are united as one because we are all called to stand firm under the one God and the one truth that is Jesus Christ as Lord. And he says we strive together. So it doesn't matter whatever's going on in our lives, Paul says, whatever happens, conduct yourself in this way, because then we can stand firm together. Paul can be encouraged that we're all pushing towards the same goal and we can all bring honour and glory to Jesus. And he says if we do this, he says, then we will stand in a way that means we're not frightened from those who oppose us. He says, if we stand strong in our faith and standing firm together in unity with the same purpose, then we will overcome our oppositions. Because you see, it says that this calls two things. He says this is a sign to them that firstly they'll be destroyed and that you'll be saved. You see, what we're doing in doing that is we're affirming our eternal destiny. We're saying we know that Jesus has got the final say. We know that Jesus has got the final judgment, that those who oppose Jesus will be no more and that we will be saved. In standing firm, in standing together in one, in unity, we're proclaiming our eternal salvation in Christ. And then Paul leaves us, verses 29 and 30, he leaves us with this small word from Paul about how as Christians we should view suffering and oppositions. He says, for it's been granted, when it says it has been granted to you, he's saying suffering, this opposition, it's been granted to you on behalf of Christ. Not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him, since you're going through the same struggle I had and now see that I still have. You see, what Paul is saying is that actually, as Christians, we should consider the opposition that we face and the suffering that we experience, we should consider that a privilege, because Christ himself had to suffer, and by us experiencing that suffering and opposition too, what we're actually doing is we're saying, yes, I am part of Christ. I am in Christ. As part of being in Christ, I gain this eternal salvation. I gain this hope and a glory. But you know what? I also gain this suffering too, because that's what it means to follow Jesus. So Paul's giving us this incredible call to as James says, to consider it pure joy when we face these trials, because it means that we're in Christ and that salvation is secure. But it also means the testing of our faith produces perseverance, as James goes on to say in James 1, 2 and 4. So that's the closing of chapter 1 of Philippians. Paul urges us to live a life worthy of the gospel, to conduct ourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel, honouring Christ, standing together as one, and even if we face suffering and opposition, then we should consider that a privilege, because we suffer together and we have the eternal glory in Christ that far outweighs everything we could experience here on earth. So be encouraged, friends, that whatever we're going through, because we can conduct ourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel, we can know the true destination, the true salvation, our inheritance in heaven. We can know that fully in our hearts. So that concludes Philippians chapter 1. Tune in next time as we continue on our Philippians journey as we look at chapter 2 about imitating Christ's humility. Until then, thanks for being with us today, guys. Take it easy.